So yeah, met this person. Let's call her Al, and great times actually. It's weird in this world when you meet somebody, it clicks, and when it clicks, it feels so perfect. And start talking for a while there. Then we drive over, get in the car, drive over to Fish Creek, park right beside Bow River there, and absolutely beautiful view. Like there's not a lot of places out here in the city where you can see the actual stars. You look up at the stars and you get lost. You just talk about everything. You talk about life. You talk about everything, right? And then one thing leads to another. Kiss, make up, and then it's just wow. It makes you feel great when you actually get to talk to somebody that gets you, that you understand, you feel everything. And it was really great. And then for 3 days, that's what we do. We just hop the car, drive over, listen to some music, smoke some cigarettes. She ended up making me a playlist, and it was described as the emo playlist, the kind of playlist where you just feel emotional songs and you feel great. Ironically enough, for songs being that sad, but eventually kept going for a while. 3 days of that. Go over to her house, start watching Evangelion of all things. I'll talk about that anime in a bit, but yeah, really interesting time. And yeah, but then at the end of it, you start noticing differences, right? Differences in how you look at things and how you think about life. And eventually, you just decide, you know what, in my head, this isn't going to work. So I look up at Al and I just basically said, listen, in the heartbeat, I could just fall so far in love with you, but it's like you don't want to. You feel almost vulnerable. You feel almost you have the wall in front of you, not the Trump wall, but the wall that's around your heart, and you just decide, I don't want to break it down. I don't want to do this. And she had some problems. She had a lot of problems, and I didn't want that sort of complication in my life. So I just said, is quitting while you're ahead the same thing as quitting? I don't think it is. I don't think you should feel bad, especially if you know in the end it's not going to work. So that was it. If she's out there, Al, if you're hearing this, you know who you are. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything works out. I wish I had been in a different headspace where maybe it could have worked, but for the time that it was, it just wasn't going to fly. And that's sometimes it's the hardest thing, is when do you stop, right? When do you know when it's time to start and when it's time to stop? And you just don't know. And I guess in the longest part, you have to learn to trust yourself. I mean, you can listen to 100 people, you can have 100 friends tell you 100 different things about it. At the end of the day, if you don't trust yourself, are you really ready to trust somebody else? I don't think you are. I don't think if you can trust yourself, you shouldn't let people in. But if you can't trust yourself, you don't do that. Because in the end, you're not just going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt them too. And that's the last thing I'd ever want to do is hurt somebody. I mean, I probably did, but at the end of the day, you can't stop that. You can't control other people. You can only control what you do. So if you're wondering why it took me so long to get here, that'd be why. It was happening to me for 3 days. How about you guys? I hope everything was going well for your 3 days. So the first chapter of my new story, you have a dog that's on top of the mountain. And the dog kind of just wonders, what am I doing up here? I'm up here in this cold mountain. It's so cold. Dog's border collie. And if you've ever had border collies are great at finding things, at doing jobs. The border collie is probably the happiest when the border collie has a job to do for the master. So this border collie is about 13 years old. That's usually about the age where the border collie starts feeling kind of run down. Life isn't working out too well. So she tries to get up the mountain, but mountain's not working out. So the border collie gets picked up by the master. Master straps Border Collie onto the back for backpack, and they keep climbing up the mountains. They keep going there. Eventually, they get to the top. They look out when they're on top of this mountain. They see the snowy field that's below the mountain, and they ask him, "How come you never went up here before? How come you didn't want to see it? Why did you climb this mountain?" And a lot of people ask you, "Why do you climb the mountains?" You climb the mountains just to see what's on the other side. Sometimes that's the greatest thing. Occam's razor. The simplest answer is often the most true. And I believe that it is. Sometimes you want to climb up that peak and you want to see what the mountain is. And I'm rambling on. And it's a sci-fi story, of course. They could beamed off the mountain later, but I like it. I thought it was a nice way to open the book with a nice happy calm moment. And who doesn't like dogs? I mean, come on. If you don't like dogs, you have some problems in your life. Unless you're a cat person. If you're a cat person, you definitely have some problems in your life, and you should probably rethink that. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk about here, because we're running into the length issue here, would be Evangelion. I promised to talk about that. If you've never seen it, the full title of the anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion. Best way to describe it is it's a turnaround of the traditional mecha anime. Like, it starts fairly straight up normal sci-fi action, and then roughly about episode 13 or so, it starts getting weird. And I mean weird, like existential weird, like questioning reality weird. Anybody who's seen it, instantly what I'm talking about. Especially those last two episodes, 25 and 26. You're gonna lose your mind. You're just gonna be like, what is going on? But I highly recommend that you check it out because realistically, I think personally, it shows that anime can be art. This is art in its purest form. And unlike most anime, I recommend you watch the English dub. The English dub was done by a bunch of theater students in Texas who were just like me and you. They were anime nerds, but they put their heart into it. It's something that I think a lot of actors lack the ability to do, is to put their art in it. Really, really good stuff. And they did a great job, those characters. I think, especially Asuka, you can recognize that voice anywhere, even 30 years later. I'd say watch it, honestly. It's great. You can find it anywhere. They have it on Netflix. Not the greatest dub. You can find it for, shall I say, extra legal. Extra legal meats. But if you do, highly recommend it. Totally do it. Totally worth it. It's going to change your life, honestly. It's going to make you rethink how you watch anime and how you watch art. Well, that's all I got for you this time. Next time there won't be such a gap between episodes. I'm hoping to try and do this at least once a week. I'll put them up on YouTube. I'll put them up here on Spotify. I hope you guys really enjoy it. If you have some thoughts, let me know. People know how to get a hold of me now. So thanks for coming. We'll see you next time on the Car Thoughts.